dropped the compass into her purse. She rebound her wrist with a practiced motion and tucked in the end so it was tight. Then she slid forward on the toilet and used it as was its custom, taking care to make a splash so that the sound advertised the fact of her urination. There were levels and levels of concealment, and she had learned not to assume that others would get the message she intended. It had to be too obvious to miss. "Nothing but pissing going on here, ma'am." The other girl chose another stall and settled down. She was not suspicious. Still, it was nervous business. If anyone were to catch on, Colene would just die of embarrassment. That was not the way she wanted to die. She stood, reassembled herself, and flushed the toilet. No blood showed. The drops had fallen cleanly into the water, leaving no giveaway stains. Yet somehow she feared that the traces were there, a guilty ambience, so that the next person who used this toilet would somehow know that a person had flirted with suicide here. But maybe not. A girl could have changed her tampon, and that was where the blood had come from. Not a pad, because that couldn't be flushed. A tampon would leave no evidence. Some girls used pads so as to maintain the pretense that they were virginal, but most preferred convenience, as did Colene herself. So she was covered. She went to a sink and washed her hands carefully. No blood showed on her wrist, thanks in part to the wrapping. Red covered red. The inner layer was absorbent and would take up the blood and help it thicken and clot. She would have to wash out the cloth at home, but she was used to that. Back in the study hall, she brought out her compass and wiped the point on a tissue, just to be sure. Then she brought out her geometry homework so that no one would wonder about the compass. Geometry was a snap. In fact, it was boring because it was two-dimensional. It would have been more of a challenge in 3 dimensions or 4. If only they had a class in cubic geometry or multidimensional constructions or fractals. Now there would be one she could truly sink her teeth into. Class, today we shall take our little pencil and graph paper and define the complete Mandelbrot set. Colene stifled a smile. The Mandelbrot set was said to be the most complicated object in mathematics. Even mainframe computers could not fathom the whole of it. Yet it was simply an exercise in algebra plotted on paper. How she would love to explore that beautiful picture, to lose herself in its phenomenal and diminishing convolutions, forever and ever, amen. But this was mundane school, where brains were routinely pickled in trivia. No hope here. As the final bell approached, Julie came to sit beside her. It was Friday, and the teacher in charge knew better than to try to keep things totally quiet in the closing minutes. As long as they didn't make a scene, they were all right. Julie had long yellow hair, which she liked to swirl about her face and shoulders. It was a nice complement to Colene's similar brown tresses. But in other respects, they differed more widely. Julie wore glasses and braces, which made her by definition unattractive. Colene, with neither, was far more popular. That was a barrier between them, and their friendship was only nominal, because it was mutually convenient to walk home from the bus stop together. Actually, Colene had no friends, by her definition, though many others called her friend. It was as if she had an invisible barrier around her that kept all others at a certain distance. No one touched her heart, and her heart was lonely. She wished it could be otherwise, but the truth was that no one she knew at school was the type she cared to sincerely like and trust. Maybe she was just an intellectual snob, and she felt slightly guilty for that, but only slightly. If she ever encountered someone with really solid intelligence and integrity, someone she could truly admire for maintaining standards she herself could not, then maybe. "Did you hear?" Julie inquired in a breathless whisper. "The principal canceled the rally tomorrow." Colene had planned on skipping the rally anyway, but she acted properly outraged. "The nerve of that nerd! Why?" "Too many bumper stinkers in the parking lot." Colene remembered. There had been a rash of bad taste stickers using 4-letter words and concepts. Principal Brown had laid down the law. No more of them on the school grounds. Evidently, some of the stupid high school boys had tried it anyway. The principal wasn't satisfied to punish the errant boys. He had to punish the whole school, too. Actually, there was reason for this. Those stickers would keep reappearing until there was a climate of rejection among the students, and that would come only if all of them paid the penalty. Colene understood, but it would be traitorous to argue the case. "What will we do with Brown?" Julie demanded rhetorically.